Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, we are recording. Miss Barbara, will you pretty please check our hearts and then we'll get started?
Yes, I will. Father, in the name of Jesus, Lord, we come before you, Father, thanking you, Lord, for all that you do and continue to do in our lives. Father, we thank you for your mercy. We thank you for your grace. We thank you, Father, for your protection. We thank you, Father, for your guidance. We invite your Holy Spirit to just have your way today, Lord. We thank you, Father, that we know, Father, that your peace that surpasses all understanding will continue to guide us and bless us, Father. We thank you, Father, for your comforter. We thank you, Father, that no weapon formed against us will prosper. We thank you, Father, for we know, Father, that you will continue to bless us, that we be a blessing to others. We give you praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. Amen. All right, guys. Well, thank you, Miss Barbara, for checking our hearts. Thank you all for being here. Let's see what we can't make. It's an awesome opportunity that we have that we live in a world where we can do this kind of thing and make this kind of money with the clicks of a button. Remember, 150K account can change your life. I'd be remiss if I said don't trade what you can't afford to lose. It is high risk. We've got 10 minutes to market open. Obviously, if you're buying a prop firm, we've got partnerships all over the place now, and they're slowly growing. So I have to do one more video interview, and then we're good. Like, I'm not doing any more after this. So prove, what is it, $30,000 worth of payouts with them, prove this, this, and this, and this, and then that'll be my last one. So use code 6FTC wherever it is valued for the very best discounts. If you're buying them anyways, remember you technically only need one or two, can change your life. Like it's going to take time to build the account, but it literally one or two. You don't have to gamble. You don't have to do the crazy stuff that I'm doing. So start where you're at. Definitely a much healthier way to be. It is 9:21. I put on volume profile. Now, granted, this is just from the market, the session open. It's not necessarily New York's. I do on another chart have New York's up just to kind of see that New York level from yesterday is all the way up there at the 894s. Can we get there? Technically, yes. 894s is way up here. But for me, I would love to kind of see a rebalance up to the 6, 700s. Like that would be my target up until this area. And I'm going to go ahead and move our 50% now down to here. Somebody had asked, well, why was I so confident of the buy yesterday? Well, because it was an easy buy, right? It was a easy target. So I'm going to keep this here. We know this imbalance kind of came in and retested. I'm going to turn off of our volume profile. We are down 2% already. Remember, the circuit breakers can and will kick on at certain levels of percentages of drops. We are facing wartime stuff. I had the sadness of seeing some news, and I don't watch news, as you guys know, but I guess we used AI for the first time for kill strikes. Kind of huge. That's huge. I mean, that's huge, you guys. Like, we need to talk about that. But let's go. Let me turn off all of our indicators for a second. This is from the high of yesterday. So we had this huge gap down again. We've got wartime stuff going on. We've got a lot going on. We've already rebalanced that. This was yesterday's closing price. So this would be a regular trading range gap all the way back up there at the 25,000s. Now, can we get that high today? Yes. But with the average range of how much we've traded today, the odds are much more in favor. Now, again, wartime, crazy times, just craps on every single statistics, right? It craps on every single of our odds and being in our favor. So overall, we have already hit the vast majority of our weekly ATR, regular trading range, ETH trading range, 4 hour, we're at 100%, 1 hour, we're at 70%. We've hit most of our stats. So can we kind of break outside of where the highs, which was 25,100-ish, and of course the lows, which are 24,300-ish, 380s, 370s? We can break out of that. But the likeliness of us closing outside of this range is very, very low. And the likeliness of us closing below our Asian session, London session average is very high because we're in a non-recovery kind of day. So with that said, my best bet would be that we're going to be looking, we've got 7 minutes to opening bell. We have a great 50% retracement here to hopefully buy back up. This overextension, so this would be a technical move all the way back up there to the 600, 660s. I like that. Again, I like kind of targeting into this area. This is my play on the day. So I'm not currently in this. I kind of wish I was. I would be in it pre-market open if I wasn't yapping. Let's go here. Well, come on. I don't know where it's at. The path. Where's our path at? There we go. I would like to see, now I don't think they're going to make this necessarily easy, so we can definitely swing down first. But my want would be to see something come up in this area into that kind of 700s. I'll kind of drag this a little bit lower, possibly all the way back up there, even to the 800s, and then see what we get. So I'm going to let this market play out a little bit. Oh, let me delete that. Delete. Try that one more time. I'm going to let this market play out, see if we can't get a pop, take out this high, and then back into here. This is where I put the question mark to say, okay, if we're confirming, now I want to see us come back down here. So it's going to be a very kind of go with where the market's going today, but this is kind of what I would like to see in a perfect world. This is my kind of analysis. Again, mostly because we're in a non-recovery day. We've got wartime stuff going on. I just want to rebalance some of this move. I would take anywhere from the 6 to 700s. I also have my weekly low sitting down there at the 217s, and then we've got 220s. I think I have another level marked up. I can't see it. I want to say it was the 270s, 280s, 270s. So that's where I'd like to see us finish the day. 280s, 270s. This is my target. This is my area of interest, kind of going from the way we've previously done things, looking at those areas, which again, full disclaimer, these levels worked. They work a lot. So I'm going to pull this all the way up to kind of the 280s, pull this up a smidge, and make this blue. Got it. This is what I'm looking to kind of see happen, but we'll see. So we've got 4 minutes now till market open. Again, got some cool things coming. We'll have MT5. We've got inside out automation ready to start being tested. We've got the licensing being put on our MetaTrader for breakout automation, which is, again, that has an edge. I don't care how you look at it and how you use it. It has a major edge. It's going to be up to you on how it all works. I know nothing is perfect, nor was it going to be perfect, but kind of exciting. So this is the 15-minute chart. Let's go down to the 5-minute chart. Let's see. Dun, dun, dun. I like that area. I'm still targeting this. I'm going to go ahead and remove this larger draw here. We don't need it. We've got our kind of 50 to 60-ish drawn out. We can definitely do what we did yesterday. That's possible. Very possible. And let's see. Good morning, everyone. Anybody got a prediction up or down? Like, I know New York Open is going to be a little wild, but do you think we close below here on the day, below the 300s on the day, or no? Because everyone wants to make a what happens at Open speech, which, right,
Yes, it's hard to say. I would be leaning towards that, but that's such a big pull down from that London um, that it may end up just up a little bit, but it's going to go down there either today or tomorrow. I guess basically is what I'm trying to say. I just don't know if it's today, but
fair,
I would be leaning definitely for it to if it it's a possibility it can happen today, but I'm not sure it will happen.
very fair. That's almost 3%, guys. That is a large percentage. I would think Wall Street and the big banks want to get a better entry on this and could pull this. Of course, they could pull it higher up because they want to sell it down, but they want a better entry to do it. So yesterday was Monday, so we had, I think the other reason why I think that we might still be kind of closing down is we know we've got wartime stuff. This was their better entry. This was their next draw. So we can draw from here or there. This was it. That's what they did yesterday. They rebalanced yesterday to get in their entries. And now they're sitting pretty. So unless we've got a lot of profit taking this morning, which could be the case, right? We're going by like auction theory and order block or order books or whatever that is. But either way, I'm not looking, and I definitely could be wrong. We've got 2 minutes till market open, but I don't know if we're going to come all the way up to fill this gap. We could, which is huge. That's 500 points. It's life-changing. I really should have my live account up. But remember, we have less margin too. If you have any live brokers right now with futures, because of everything going on, you're going to have less, you're going to have way, way less margin. You have less room today. So no fun. No fun at all. But I am going to log in actually. I want to. I want to. I won't trade crazy. I'll trade a little bit. Live trading, just to have it up. I'm not going for very much. With Apex's new updates, I am going to kind of clean it up yet again of how I'm doing things. So luckily, I still have a plethora of accounts with the old rules. And I know it's not that big of a deal, but that daily loss limit is a bigger deal if you have $70,000, $80,000 worth of profits. If you have $30,000 worth of profits and you're only allowed to use four of them, it's great because it's going to save like the really big blow up day. It's going to save that day. So technically, in that regard, it's great. But in the rest of the ways, I don't think it's that great. So we'll see. There we go. We're pushing down a little. I would be looking to long and see if we just can't. That's 200 points. It's possible. I'm not in this just yet. Mind you, your stop loss would need to be nearly 100 points. Like for before this trade is invalidated. Of course, you can exit quicker just knowing you can't afford the 100 points. But please know that your stop loss would need to be approximately 100 points. From where I'm in on my live account. And I'm going to take it on my 25K accounts. Wish I was in it on other accounts, but I'm not. Good morning. At least to the VWAP, we've got 620s. Beautiful. We just took that kind of pre-market area a little bit. That was smooth. Even with later entries, that was nearly 100 points right off the top.
Yeah, nice move.
Sometimes it's worth just where I'm not waiting for that range to close. So I do think we potentially remember that gap is all the way up there at the 900s. Now, I don't know if they're going to make that easy or get that high.
We just have a we have a engulfing candle on the 1 hour of the previous hour's candle, but now it's retracing back.
The 1 hour candles were kind of railroading, which I did not like. And we just broke above that 1 hour levels. Well, point of control is shifting all over the place right now. If we're getting back above, so if you missed this entry and it was a little aggressive, a little fast, if you missed that, there's no way you're going to be able to have tighter stop. You can have tighter stop losses, but you're going to be statistically likely to kind of closing out 50% of those in losses, which is not bad. That's not a wrong way to be, but just be prepared for that. So size down. The ATR is huge today, and it's going to remain huge because of the season that we're in with all the war stuff. So we've got 2 minutes left on this 5-minute candle. Let's see if we're going to close bullish or kind of close with the doji and kind of wick it down a little bit. I still think we've got at least kind of all the way up there to the 600-700s. We popped up to 630s. I'd like to see another 70 points kind of minimum. Doesn't mean we're going to get it, and it doesn't mean it won't wick down by 100 and some odd points with this kind of ATR and price action. So I'm going to pull this over here and lock it. If we get back above even 600s, I would take it again because that's 30, 40 points. And yeah, that happened so quick. There's no, here, let me show you. I think I can. This is on the bigger screen though. How do I do that? Hmm. Oh. Okay, this is huge, but it's coming from another screen. So just one entry. That one's my live account. Put this back over here. We're coming back up to 600s right now. This looks so slow as opposed to Tradeday. Remember, your ATR is large. You're going to need room on that stop loss. Please do not try to trade without some room today or for the foreseeable future. We're in an interesting time. It would not be a good idea to say, hey, look, I'm going to trade with I want my 20-point stop loss. I'm going to trade with no stop loss. This is not the season for that, you guys, not at all. Buys are still valid as long as we're kind of holding back above the 446s. Notice that is an enormous range right now. Price is sitting at the 575s. We want to see them kind of push back up, get back above the 600s. That's my kind of line in the sand. Not only is it structure, but it's also a whole psychological number. Well, it doesn't look like it wants to right now. Four seconds left on that 5-minute candle, and we do not love that. What I don't want to see, if I'm still wanting to see this filled, I don't want to see this kind of wick and take out all those lows, which is a huge amount of points. 377, that's 140, 130 points away. Wick down. There's not a lot of like left imbalances down here. So if we're breaking all the way down, I think we're taking liquidity, which is a huge amount of points. So I really want to see this kind of respect these moving averages and come back up. But that bounce off that VWAP was intensa. It was intensa for sure. Good morning, good morning. Let's see, we got one trade. This is the 5-minute time frame. Here we go. We're getting our push right back up. 550s, man. We could even say, hey, look, we get back above 50% of that 5-minute range. Notice how we're trading a little different. Price action is a little different. The volume is different. The ATR is different. We get back above these 570s even, would be a very risky entry. Okay, very, very risky and aggressive, but that's halfway through the 5-minute ATR, well, 5-minute breakout area, orb, and you've got JGS on your side, and you've got kind of your oscillators. Your MACD is crossing right now. The fast and the slow is kind of retesting now. You've got chop zone. So earlier entry is going to be down there at the 570s. It's going to give you an additional 30 points to play with. Definitely not a bad way to be. Is that mine? That push is going, going, going. Good morning. I think you've got 660s, which is 50 points away, guys. That's a lot of points away. I'd like to see us kind of pump to the upside. To give you an idea, I had to exit some of these because I hit the dang button twice. I was like, oh no. And the only reason I knew that. So we'll clean this all up. Well, one hit pretty quick. I'm gonna see if we can't get, oh, that's probably more than the target I want. And she is going. I'm gonna be knocked. Actually, I'm not knocked out. Why am I not knocked out? Oh, it's probably not right sized. It's only got micros. Oh, I was like, that's not it. This account should be at 4 grand now, but it's not because it's only trading micros instead of the minis, which it's kind of supposed to be trading had it been set properly. I was like, that should be knocking me out, but it's not. Again, some of these accounts have trailing drawdown. I'm going to lock that profit. We've got a very volatile market and just let it ride. Let it keep going. This is my worst entry. This is my latest one. So, oh, I love you. Thank you.
Oh, you do.
Happy birthday, baby.
Mhm.
Jen brought me coffee this morning
Uh-oh.
because I don't do drip coffee and it tastes better right now for some reason. It tastes nostalgic.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Calhoun.
It tastes all like living in the country. Your brother wants to live in the country now because of the young lady he's talking to.
Wow.
He's like, yeah, we own property. He's a trip. He never wants to be in the country, but we'll talk about him.
That's fine.
I love you, baby. Have a great day. So Noah's got a new lady friend, okay? She's kind of a country girl. She wants horses. Well, we've got some property. And mind you, he is a city boy through and through. Um, I'm out of that. I'm good with that. Those are both entries. I posted this one in the chat. Could have, would have, should have managed that one better, but I've got plenty enough profit on the day. I don't need more than that. I don't need to chase. I don't need to do all the things. There's lots going on. So I do think there's more room to the upside. That's the 650s. We said 600s, 700s, right? So anyways, it's kind of funny. Noah's like, oh yeah, he's wearing a camo hoodie today, the whole nine. He's gonna get boots. And remember when he was like a baby, I had him in some boots and some a hat and all the stuff because we lived out a lot of property. And that was the town, 1,000 people, 500 in the school, K through 12. So kind of funny. Funny, funny, funny. We're bouncing. We're really rejecting off that VWAP for the second time. Today's the day I would have all information possibly available, right? So if that's the VWAP, I want to know where that's at. If volume profile, which I don't use too often, Fibonacci measured moves, okay, I want to know where kind of all the major potential reaction levels are because when we get a reaction, it's very likely to be very large. Very, very large, guys. Okay. I'm flat out of those two. This account should have been up more. Um, all the accounts and all the different levels based off of the size they're trading, but I didn't right size this, so that's kind of sad. Also though, $2,000 a day on a single account is definitely not a bad way to be. Like, can't complain. You can, but you shouldn't probably. Now, what do you guys think? You think this is the turnaround point? This right here is not even. That's that 60, the 660s. So we had that marked up. This was our perfect kind of technical move. We came all the way back up. That completes this draw on all of it. It's done. Obviously, our next target is going to be up there to the 50, so we don't need this one on anymore. I'm going to remove that. This probably is going to be a range day. I don't think we get back up there to 25,000s. We could, but I don't think so. We strong drown 10. We just got a nice reaction off of that kind of 38%. Again, I want to see a bit more after almost 3% move to the downside. I want to see a bit more. Doesn't mean I'm going to get it, but we got into the 600s. We finished this technical move, right? This is a great reaction area. People are going to be selling at that level. Seller stepped in and took it. Oh, fun. Aw. 15-minute range is going to be closing with a wick on both sides. Doji. We're all the way back down to the 530, so we could do the same thing we did with the 5-minute, which is if we get back above 50% of the 15-minute range, because we're playing with such a large amount of numbers. That's a 70-point ATR right now because of everything going on in the world. So we kind of get back above the 575s, take it as a very aggressive early entry, kind of looking for that one more pop. That one more pop is a 100-point pop. So aggressive. If you don't need it, I wouldn't trade it. But let's see. But if you do need it, we've got 2 technical entries on the day. Same analysis, got 2 entries. Took one here. Oh, I locked it. Locked it so I couldn't break it. Took one there, locked, and took another one there.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how this hourly closes. It's one of those things though. With the trend is definitely down on the daily. There's a lot more opportunity to the downside, but again, reiterating that was such a big move from the open evasion all the way into London that just not sure how much more ATR will have for it to continue with a lot more force. But it could definitely be a continuation from the day. It's just you sort of have to wait and see. But any buys up, there's potentials for that. But definitely protecting on a regular basis, I would definitely recommend because definitely this is going to be trending down, and it could be trending down for a few days for the rest of the week, predominantly with a few pullbacks here and there.
That's what I'm thinking is I think we close lower, but it's just hard to participate in the sells at 3% of a down on the day already. I really want to participate in the sells. This I could have sold this area, but there was just even on the 1 minute there was no confirmations to kind of sell here. You could have just bid the level, tight stop, tight-ish stop, considering there's such a high ATR. There we go. Remember, we've already taken the 2 entries. Lock that. This is the 575s we just talked about. It's aggressive. If you really need another trade, there's 100 points to the upside. Even if you're wrong and you're only kind of catching that next little wick up, your stop loss has the potential to be a little tighter and you can protect within 30, 40, 50 points. Because remember, from 575s all the way up here to the 660s, that's 80, 90, oh, nearly 100 points. So it is not a bad way to be. Quick question. If price is frozen on both my terminal and my mobile app, that would indicate a broker issue? Not necessarily, no. It's likely connection. So you see how ours is not? Like, again, with this much volume, we're probably having, first off, start video recording right now just to protect you, okay? And then once your video recording, log into your phone, log into wherever you can to go flatten. Sometimes websites have the ability to let you flatten and then reboot the server. So I hope you're in a buy. If you're in a buy, you got a couple of minutes, hopefully. If you're in a sell, I would be concerned, just not because I don't think that, again, like Jonathan and I just talked about, I do think we've got some downside potential, but yeah, buy, but it's US30. Hold on. Oh, this is what US30 is doing, Breakout. I would reboot.
Okay, I'll do that. Yeah, because it like literally froze up after it went up. I could have closed it when it popped up, like where that top is, but it froze. Okay, now it's now just because I said it, now it's showing. Okay, all right. Let me fix what's
No,
going on.
yeah,
All right,
you do
thanks.
you, girl. I get it. You do you. Okay, YM is pushing down. ES is pushing down. NQ, not quite yet, but makes me a lot less interested in those buys. A lot less. It's we've already got the vectoring and the wicks to the upside, but now we've also got, I mean, this is rejecting, although, and it didn't take any liquidity here. YM did, but we don't really use that as confluence. Big, strong wick of rejection. So even if we got in at the 575s, it did push up all the way to 617. So that's that 30, 40 points. Not perfect, but just possible, right?
The good thing is, even with it freezing, it was still within the range. But I was like, okay, I'm like, I've never seen it do that before, where it did it both on my terminal and on my app, because normally that's where I can go in and make changes. But thank you for that insight. I appreciate it.
No, thank you. Honestly, guys, when we talk about, oh, well, this is strategy and stuff is 70% or 60% or 50, it doesn't matter because you're going to have all the other things, stuff like that, that are just, maybe it was tech, maybe it was the broker, maybe it was Tradeday, maybe it was you, maybe it was your internet. Like there's just so many other things that you have to factor for in those numbers because these days happen, sadly, too frequently, but definitely a significant amount of the time. So significant enough to make an impact for sure. All right, we're going down now.
Man, I feel sorry for anybody who over leveraged on that breakout.
Oh yeah, if they just took it a breakout, today's not a day for a breakout trade. That range is too large. And people get mad, well, then how do you know? Well, if people are dropping bombs and stuff, probably a good idea to rethink a little bit. That's 118 points, which isn't necessarily super large as opposed to yesterday, but the price action is going to be wild today. I mean, assumably.
Oh yeah, most certainly. Most certainly. Things are really escalating very quickly. And with all due respect too, this is just a catalyst for everything to happen because the market has really needed a reason to actually pull back, and it hadn't been doing it. And we saw that we were pretty much, as you pointed out, I think in some of the previous classes, that pretty much we're in a range. Like even if we had moves up or down, that may have been seen big within the intraday. On the daily and the weekly, pretty much we didn't really go anywhere. We weren't like sustaining new highs, and we were just sort of staying in that mean for quite a bit of.
Just went nowhere, yeah. Are we really outside of that range yet? God, look how messy that is. I don't even think we really are just yet.
Oh, that's why I was
We're
saying there's a lot more room to the downside. We need to pull back a little bit more downward to eventually at some point, I don't know when that would be, to ultimately make the new highs and continue on the bull run.
24,100s. 24,000. This was the other level I was talking about. We marked it up today, the 24,050s to the 80s. There's a lot of room here. A lot. 5 minute, 4 hour time frame. Let's go on to the 5 minute. I would just be very careful. Again, same scenario. You get back above these 575s. You can take this protecting within 30, 40, 50 points, but just know that you're in a range. You're very likely for shock. We're due a retracement. We don't have to get it, right? We're not, there's no rule that says we have to. We've already retested the VWAP. We kind of hit into that 38%, which we want a bit more of, but doesn't mean we're going to get it.
Well, non-farm world's tomorrow, huh?
Yeah, Wednesday and then Friday, right?
Yes, yeah, it looks like it. Definitely Wednesday, unemployment claims on Thursday, Friday. Then we have, yeah, the non-farm roll, and then core retail sales and average or hourly earnings and
Once,
unemployment rate on Friday, all at 7:30 a.m. or 8:30 a.m. Eastern time.
guys, these upper wicks are not giving strong buying, vibes. And it doesn't necessarily, it could be the trap. We're definitely stuck in the middle. We're still respecting this, but remember, we've already completed the first extension. So this next target was going to put us all the way back up there at the 750s, and that's kind of a big ask. We could hit it, but it's just one of those things. We got to trade it carefully because there's no confirmation really. I still like we just respected yet again, so I'm gonna keep that there. To maybe push back up. That brings us into the 700s possibly, but it's just none of this is super beautiful with all these wicks and stuff. There's no big confirmation. So looks like we're trying to push back down again. We've got 1 minute left on this 5 minute candle and 5 minutes left on the hourly and 4 hours. So we go here. point of control on the New York session is sitting there at the 559s, which is what people are probably bidding to the downside. Not in love. I think after a 3% move to the downside, I'm still like bigger picture play. If I was intraday trading, I would be looking to either have some pending sells a little bit higher, okay? Or I'd be looking to kind of scalp up. I don't think I'd just be selling here. So that would be how I would be trading today if I was looking at the bigger play. So since we're looking for these smaller plays, again, we're getting right back into this area. We're trying. And here we go again, last 5 minutes of this candle. Hourly candle is looking really wicky. We can still push up all the way there to the 580s and still kind of close with a beautiful bullish that doesn't take out the high of previous candle. It's possible. Hourly candle from where we're currently sitting now, 520s to 580s, is 60-point pop. And we'd still end up closing with a great wick on both sides. But we've only got 4 minutes to do it. So looking more bearish to me by far, but that's going to put this as a very bearish candle. I don't think we necessarily close below the 497s and turn this into a bearish candle, but we could also do that, especially with where price is sitting right now. We're only 20 points away from that. Three minutes and trying. Everything else is making new lows, those guys. New lows. Not quite yet. YM dead. Yes. Kind of a sit on my hands moment. This is kind of a 50% retracement. That's all this is. Like if this is still respecting that, I'm going to go ahead and remove this one so we can kind of see the most recent one clearer. We already know this is the 50, 60% there. Most recent draw puts us kind of that 79%, which is not something I use. I'm keeping it up to kind of practice with it a little bit. And from the big picture, that's where we're sitting. 3 minutes left on this candle. I think they want to put. I don't know if they're going to pump this as much or not. Ugh. Yes, down. Yes, really isn't moving that far down. YM. There you go. You're losing it. 58. We've got 2 minutes left on this 4-hour and hourly candle. We are trying desperately. We just lost 5. All those areas have already been filled. So there we go. From there, that's that 61%. And we're going to see. I still think the 700 area is kind of a major target, but doesn't look like we're going to try to get it. Now I'm going to move my desk back down, have a seat, because we got nothing. Literally got nothing. One minute left on this candle. Let's see. 450s is the next target from where we're sitting. So again, that's 50 points away. We're sitting at the RTH. God. And we've got anywhere from the 250s to 280s if we're selling off for real, for real. So at this level, I'm going to sit on my hands. There's not much for me to do. You technically have all reasons to be looking for a breakout sell to the downside. I'm going to, whoopsie. As it pumps back up.
Yeah, the market's just taking its time to make its move. Yeah, so that hour, even though that hour candle closed bearish, that structure has been holding on that hour. So it'll be interesting to see now, I guess, where this candle is going to actually end up closing. It may just take one more hour close to give us direction of the day, or it could be one of those things too, where we don't go anywhere predominantly for the whole day, for the remainder of the day, or maybe like a late move in the afternoon. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, we got a couple of trades on the day, which is good too.
Yeah, 100%. But you said it right. Like just staying on your hands and waiting till you have an obvious, move or reason to be in. That's one of the things that I've definitely been trying to work on as well, the waiting game. And then if you have to be in the market, the size that you've been preaching and limiting your size, and then especially when you have high ATR days and ranges, limiting your size as well. So if there is like a immediate pullback, which definitely can happen right now, there's a lot going on. So expect pullbacks on the upside and downside at any point. So definitely we should be managing accordingly. Today's not a day to yellow for sure, for sure. Let that gremlin come out.
It's really not. It's just going to be a mess no matter how we look at it, I think. Where's my... I don't mind participating in like these little 30, 40 point moves because it's reasonably easy if you're willing to close it when you're wrong pretty quick. But like where to? Eh. Again, I'm not in love with the cells, but let's see. We got a new 4-hour print, so 344s, which is really just going to take the lows. So now that we've got new data, that would bring us to here for the 344s. Maybe get a turnaround at the 440s, which is literally a 100-point difference. Thank you very much. And see. For 70, so to 440s, you've got 30 points. But I don't love it, especially not after a 3% move to the downside. But this is that perfect kind of retracement. So if we get past our egos and our biases, there's your break. You've retested the VWAP, you're in bearish territory, JGS and breakout all confirming you have a sell. So I'm not taking this. That's 140 points. I'd be protecting for sure with at the 44s-ish, which is a 40 points away. But this is a move you guys can take a look at. Again, you've got the confirmation, but you're proven already to be choppy. Yes. Has already moved 2 times the range, 1 time the range. YM is 2 times the range out. And of course, NQ. So you've got something here. Why won't this work? We'll see. That's a 30-point little drop. Move. It doesn't matter. I've got to fix all my sizing too for the bigger accounts. I'm trying to relocate them. I did purchase a couple of the new ones just to kind of participate with the masses. So I do have some of their, I didn't buy the end of day because I don't really care about that. I got pretty good about with the intraday. That's the least of my concerns. The daily loss limit is the biggest one by far. We're stuck kind of holding this 449s. And it doesn't seem like much, but that's 40, 50 points of a just stuck in right that little section. We're still bearish. Bearish, but we're pumping now. This would be kind of, again, I did not take this, just trade idea that's using 50% of the range. So as long as we're not closing above 50% of the range, and notice I say closing, which means that is a whole bunch of points to wick up. And we wait. Just wait. Still sitting the same. This was kind of the pre-market trade I took. This is in class. And she's pushing up. So I'll give it a little bit longer. We'll hang out a little bit longer. It's 10 o'clock. We've taken no liquidity, but remember, we've already done over 3% to the downside overnight. We are officially, are we declaring war? Anybody know anything news-wise that maybe you're better at that than me?
What do you mean, are we declaring war? We are in war.
I know we're at war, but we used AI. We're always at war. Okay,
Oh, we have to do the
Jonathan.
official ID clear war.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just joking with you. You know
It's
that.
horrible. I know. Horrible, you guys. Okay, so anybody got any opinions on that stuff?
Oh God, no.
It's like, oh God, that's taboo. We can't talk about that.
Oh yeah, you already know how people is. You know, the one thing that I do know is that whether it's a Trump war, Biden war, Obama war, Clinton war, like being commander in chief is never an easy thing, and it's from the outside looking in, we always like to have our point of views and our own personal feelings and bias on this, whether it's right or wrong, and sometimes we don't know until the dust is settled and cleared, which sometimes can be years or decades away. But obviously, anytime anyone would make these decisions, the people who are positioned in power don't make it lightly. They have people on who are close to them that you hope would advise them accordingly, and then they have to make their decision based. It's not an easy thing to put American lives and also take other lives, you know. And they have intel that we'll never know. We like to assume that we know all the intel, or the reasonings for each war, whether it be one reason or multiple reasons. So that's just one of the things. All you can really do is just pray that it's the right decision, even if it's not the right decision, that it de-escalates as soon as possible. um but it's always catch 22. If you don't do anything and then something happens that can actually hurt people here, that in the States, then you're like, oh well, why didn't they do anything to prevent that? And then when you take the aggressive point and do that, then it's we're not, why we find a war that has nothing to do with us. So you never know. But there's a reason they always call every president the leader of the free world, or whatever the case may be, because that's essentially what it is. We're the biggest military power. Where the standard as far as the backing, as far as monetary is concerned. So with a lot of power comes a lot of responsibility. So I'll just leave it at that.
That with a lot of power comes a lot of responsibility. Everyone thinks they want it. Everyone thinks they'd make different decisions, but we're not sitting in that desk to make that decision. So, oh, Breek, I saw you on mute. What do you got?
So I was going to mention, just from the perspective of having lived in the Middle East and having worked with a lot of people of Arabic descent and Muslim descent, um, it's been really interesting to see kind of Iran's response. Am I surprised? No, but I think it was wise, and absolutely not, as far as them attacking several of the Middle East countries. And I'm like, you know the culture there. They're gonna team up. Like basically you just pissed off everybody who possibly could have been allies to them. Um and just I don't know what the news has been saying in the US, but I have friends that are on the ground in the UAE, so they've been kind of I could check on them and make sure they were okay. But then one of them is posting like different updates from the newspaper there. So they have successfully avoided having a lot of the missiles. I think only one or two kind of got through, but the rest of them they've deterred. And at least with the culture, for what I know of it there, those people aren't punks. Like my cutest little girl with pigtails could throw hands, you know? So, and when I mean it, I mean it, you know? So it's like with the culture there, they have no problem, fighting for what they believe in, what they stand on. And so just with them attacking people from their own, I guess culture and background and stuff like that. And even though, each country is a little bit different, but as far as same kind of system, I was like, that was the dumbest thing they probably could have done. Because you're talking about Saudi Arabia, you're talking about the UAE, you're talking about people who have long money. They have long money and they have been preparing, I'm sure, you know, um, for whatever. And what I'm hoping the outcome is that, it is what it is right now, but hopefully it makes Iran better. Like hopefully we didn't just do an upheaval just to have a chaos, there for years and years and years. Um, because then that didn't help anybody. We don't want the situation to be worse as a result. And then I'm also kind of waiting to see what the Middle East countries that have been impacted with their kind of long-term strategy is going to be concerning the West. Because, Iran, of course, attacked them as well as, um, whomever. But it's going to be interesting to see what that long-term strategy is going to be. Because at least when I was living over there, when Qatar kind of had their thing where they were kind of backdoor supporting one of the terrorist groups, like the UAE and several of the other countries, they were like, boom, Qatar is out. So like for the 4 years I lived there, I could not fly through Qatar. I could not go through Qatar. You did not hear people talking about Qatar on the street. I saw a tourist wearing a Qatar jersey and I'm like, dude, you do not want to do that here. Um, just because either you're in or out. It's a very either inclusive or exclusive. Jonathan, you're funny. It's either an exclusive or an inclusive society. And just I'll give you a perfect example. I don't know if I've shared this, but a friend of mine had they were doing really, really well in investments. I don't know exactly what kind of investor or whatever he was in finance, but he was doing really well. And so one of the people from Emirati culture invited him to their house, and this is somebody who had long money, and they typically don't really fraternize with people who are not Emirati, um, and especially not Arabic. But this is like an American that worked in the finance industry. So him and his wife went to go visit the individual, and they brought their niece and nephew. So the guy brought out his falcon, the big birds, and he let my friend and his wife hold the falcon. He never offered it to the niece and nephew because again, it's either you're in or you're out. So it's not even spoken. It's like, okay, I like these two. They're like me or my family or whatever. I'm including them and halas to like whoever else you are, you don't matter, kind of thing. So it's a really interesting culture, but I had a great time there and I did have I had more really great experiences than negative experiences while I was there.
It's hard because I guess they're shutting down travel for a lot of areas too. Like everyone is changing their tune and Trump's orders not to travel. Of course, you guys know I've got a daughter who's overseas. I've got a church who's got a huge missing trip for people who are literally jumping on the bus to head to the airport here in the next couple of days shortly. And everyone is in a super upheaval because they're like, no, you can't go here, can't go there. And one of the groups is going to the DR Breakout to build some houses. It's crazy to see the impact that's so far reaching.
And Barika is would you know like a lot of those some of those countries like well I guess specifically Saudi Arabia is maybe changing now. We already know the UAE, but I guess UAE specifically, they're one of the only like Islamic or Muslim, countries where people can practice Christianity and it's not an issue. Whereas like in Iran, that's not a thing.
Sorry, I'm looking for my mute button. Absolutely. I'm trying to think. It's a recorded call, so I can't go into all the details. But yes, there are ways that people go. There are ways that people do. Whatever. Because you are absolutely correct. And actually, right after I left, they opened a museum where it was kind of like it brought in all three of the faiths that kind of began with Abraham. So I was like, man, I missed that. But it was like they had started allowing Jewish people to come, which that was a big, big, big deal. Because previously, at least from a book I had read before I had moved over there, one of the ladies was like, if you had something that was maybe from a Jewish manufacturer, they had to cut the label out, or it's a big honor culture. And so to your point, and even like that couple that I mentioned, they actually came from from Saudi Arabia and moved to the UAE. And so even their quote unquote churches are allowed, but it's very restricted, if that makes sense. Very, very restricted. Whereas in the UAE, we had like the area that we would go to, but it was like everything that wasn't Muslim was kind of in the area. So we would go to church and we would see like the Sikhs, from the Indian culture having their service or whatever, and we would go to the Christian, buildings and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it was a really, really great experience. And also, at least with the UAE, what they put in was that they're paying for hotels and food for anybody who's stuck there during this. So, like I said, very, very, it was a very, very, very enjoyable situation for me. And like I've said this for a while, I've said this, I'm like, guys, have your passports because you never know when you'll need them, You don't
Mhm.
wait till you need it to try to get it because that's when everybody's going to be trying to get it. So if you don't have a passport, please get one because it's better to have one and not need it than to need it and not have it.
That 100%. Oh, guys, that sell is playing out. It's not the day for it. It's just not. Hold on. We're coming down the 437s. Yeah. 20 points from here. Easy target. Beyond that, I'd be targeting down to the 340s. It's playing out. It's just a mess. It's ugly. Ugly, ugly.
Can I ask a crypto question?
Oh, yeah, come on out.
Okay. So, and I think you use this as a strategy. So can we I don't know, pull up like maybe Ripple, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just close out this trade and stop playing with just stop. It's probably going to go the way I want it to go, but halas, yeah. Okay. So, what are your thoughts on, how we know that with these different instruments that they tend to be volatile, but like if someone was waiting, say, okay, in case, I wanted to have a pending if price really, really drops, what are your thoughts on how you would mark that up for like, let's say Ripple, or we can just do Ripple. I knew it was gonna move as soon as I closed my trade. Anyway, let me just be happy. Okay.
She's like, yeah, right. That's how it always goes. The second you close it, we just hit that target, that 230, the 437s. If I were to be placing a target, like obviously I want to be looking at support. So our most
Hmm.
recent support there is down at it's $1. So I'd be looking at whole numbers, like from me.
Ah, okay.
And again, a lot of people are talking about all kinds of different things. Some people are like, hey, don't buy Ripple. They're pretty against it. But like we're all the way on the daily time frame. So for me, like not look using anything else. We can look at measured moves. So from this last wave, oh come on. So from the most recent low all the way up there to the highs, we're at that level, probably how we got that big old bounce that we got. Here, obviously, we're invalidated. I'm going to turn that to remove that. Let's go here. So from the most recent drop to that, I'd be looking to kind of place bid orders right here at the kind of 8, we'll just say 0.87 whole number. And you can even say 87.5. So 0.875. And the biggest reason why is we're going to get a reaction at this level, right? This level back from 2023, we're going to get a reaction there for sure. But it's not just this. So if let's say you don't want to use Fibonacci, as you guys know, I'm reasonably new to kind of looking at those draws, but prior to recently, I never really did. I kind of feel like it's all the same and all not that different. If we weren't looking at this Fibonacci drawing, we'd be looking at this previous level. So of course, you can go here, but this level's already been bought up. So for me, I don't want the most recent one, which the most recent one's going to be at the $1.13. I wouldn't be choosing this. If I was looking for like the really, really better one, I'd be choosing down there at the 87.50. So 87.50. We already got the big reactions. I would have to go up a bigger time frame. Let's go 2 days, which will cut that in half. We got big reactions at these previous highs. So notice we broke through it, came back to it, came back to it, respected it again. That's just previous structure. That's all it is. Came back above it, broke structure, came back through. And again, we respected this a whole bunch. We would expect the same here. We're getting something very comparable here at these levels. And all that is structure. If you pull up fibs, it's going to be just a different version of fibs too. It's going to be all the same thing. Like, to me, it's just in whichever one your eyes see best. So you can look for whole numbers. I'd be personally putting my orders at 87.50, well, 0.875 more accurately. Below that, if I really was thinking that this is going to fill, I would have the bigger orders down there at 50 cents. So my number, without even looking at this chart that I know of that I have orders out, is 50 cents. 50 cents was a very magnetic and kind of whole number, very heavily discussed number for XRP. It was 50 cents, right? Everyone swore it would never get above 50 cents. It's the number that we stayed at for a hot minute. A version of 50 cents, right? We went to 30, popped up to 90, but this 50 cent area has been a really agreed upon price for a long time. Like it's been a very, very agreed upon price. So anywhere in the 50 cents is where I'd be putting the vast majority of my orders, knowing that if I'm wrong and this doesn't continue dropping, I would catch some here, right? But I would put the larger ones down there at 50 cents. That would be mine for Ripple particularly. And that's
Awesome. Thank
where my
you.
orders are. And that's where my orders actually are for Ripple.
Awesome. And then one last question too, because I know it's been probably a minute since we've talked about this, but you know how you talk about like, okay, whatever you put your order in and then like at, I think it's like a double or triple, yes, taking some off and then letting the rest run. Just if you don't mind, just discussing that really quick, just for a refresher for me and then for others who may
So
have
like
not
if I
purchased.
on my long-term investment, you mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So let's say market comes all the way down here to the 87 cents, okay? And let's say we miss these orders and these never get activated. So let's just go with the kind of that mid-grade scenario. And we start pushing up. By the time I've made 20, 30% on my money, and it depends on what your goals are. For crypto, I'm looking for a lot more than 20 or 30%, 50%. For crypto, I'm looking for more like 50% of my money. If this was like a stock or a different portfolio, like my health savings plan or my Roth, I'm trading that obviously very differently, and I'm not trading it very actively. But for this, I'm looking for about 50%. By the time that I'm up 50%, okay, ish, depending on market volume and everything else and what my prediction is for this particular instrument, I'm going to close out of a lot. So therefore, I'm break even plus, right? Depending on what platform you're on, you can drag a stop loss into profit, right? Or you can just close out of some and set alerts to close if we get back down. So I would be taking some profit. And then if this continues to go up, like think about the pump and dump coins, which is what really fried me long term, was I kept trying all those coins that, man, they'll be up a bajillion dollars, but if you didn't take it, it doesn't matter, right? If you didn't take any of this, you made no money. This was a lot of money. This was 500% in gains. That's a lot. But if you didn't take any of that, then you made nothing. So for me, let's say I bought down here, I'm going to definitely have taken some off at that 50, 100%. Obviously, I was looking for more gains in terms of Ripple particularly, but still, I'm taking some off based off of my own measurements and math. I'm taking some off based off of structure and technical analysis. and then the rest I'm going to let run. This way, if this does happen to come back down, I'm still holding some, like, because I want to keep some active in my portfolio, but I'm out and I've capitalized on a couple 100% in this case. And now, if I want to get a better entry, I'll be placing orders, lower than where price is currently at, knowing that some will activate, knowing that some won't, because this side of my portfolio is it's not a very active side. I don't want to be looking at this every day or worrying about it every day. As you guys know, I've checked my crypto portfolios more from discussions on this call than I have out of my own personal choice, because once a week, once every 2 weeks, depending on how volatile the market is, I go in, I'll take some, I'll move orders around, and then that's it. Very, very, not a lot of middle management. So again, to recap, if I have buy orders in, or if I'm up, I'm going to take some off based off of a percentage. Okay, you get to decide that percentage based off of the instrument and your goals. I'm taking some off regardless of what the price is and the chart is doing based off of gains. I want to protect something. And then I'm willing to take some off based off of technical analysis. So like in this case, as we started taking highs, I want to take some off because we don't know how much more it's going to take. We don't know if we're just going to get this and then swing right back down. So we all like to pretend like we know forever and ever, for sure, it's going to go and go and go. It might, that could happen, but we don't know that for sure. Like, and this is evidence of that. Look what the market's doing right now. So for that reason, I'm taking some off in percentages, some off in structure. I'm locked, scaled, and protected. And as I've taken some off, I can also kind of place orders a little bit lower. So now if market does retrace, I can get back in.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I think that's what people do wrong on crypto is they buy crypto or trading or investing is they buy. They're like, oh, I'm going to hold this for 20 years. And that is not a bad way to be, depending on which method. But most people don't have the capacity. They tell themselves they're going to hold it for 20 years and then they don't actually do it. So knowing that most people don't sit through that, instead they buy, market made all of this move and now it gets to here and now we're scared or we needed the money. So that's a 500% difference, like, well, 400%, right? It's a 400% difference. Whereas if you took the same amount of money and you took some off, market moved up a little bit, you got knocked out of some of it, most of it. By the time you get all the way over here, which is, where price is at, your portfolio is still up 200 or 300%, maybe more, right? Probably not the full bajillion%. I know everyone wants to be YouTube worthy, but you're up still 200 or 300% easy, and you have free capital to buy more and get the next pump. So I just think that's a better method if you're going to be active trading on this stuff.
Yeah, because that goes to show you how young crypto still is as far as the market is, concerned in its maturity. That you can get some hundreds of percent on certain assets, and then it retrace like 70%, in certain cases even more. So definitely, taking advantage of those situations because I think a lot of those investors they think it's going to just keep pumping. And when I say those investors, people who are mostly on the crypto market and newer investors that are on that side of the crypto market, they think it's just gonna when it's pumping, it's gonna pump forever, and then when it's going down, that oh, it's gonna go down to zero, whatever. There's never no like balance. It's just one aggressive view in one direction or the other direction. But the main point that you did make is that you have to definitely participate when it's low or when you have discounts. Another good way to look at it is that if you're really bullish on a certain project that you believe in, maybe a bigger cap crypto or whatnot, and you believe it's at a place of value. People try get infatuated with trying to pick the bottom and get access to the bottom, but when it's close or smelling around the bottom, then go ahead and get your don't go all in, but at least get some sort of size in, and then if it pulls back more, then you have opportunity to add more onto it as long as you haven't released all your eggs at one point. So that's definitely a great approach. But when you look at the longer term, and I think Jenny's always pointed that out when she's sort of done these sort of evaluations on the different cryptos, is looking at previous all-time highs. And if you feel things haven't changed with the project, you don't know when that'll happen, but if you have a good entry point and you hold it and you're not looking at it every day, then eventually you will make some really substantial gains.
That 100%. I just think that's what people get wrong is the truth is, in a perfect world, we've always, bottom ticked the best entry, and those videos are viral and people get insta famous. But the truth is, your average trading for the average person, you're going to have got in, let's pretend this is like the monthly or yearly view. You're going to probably have got in here. You're going to got scared here or closed out. And then it continued on. And this is where people get messed up. Like, or you got in here and you got out here for negligible gains that you have to pay taxes on. So you're kind of pretty close to break even after taxes. That's the story versus have a plan in place. We're coming up on that target. I did take this on my Top Step funded accounts, but it's not very much. I'm only up $200 on the day. Locked and protected because I had to. Just on that, nothing else. It's not enough worth enough risk. But oh, we're getting that bounce too. And that's the problem, guys. That's the problem over and over again, is we're doing it all the time. And I know I'm guilty of it for different reasons and different ways with futures of how I'm approaching the market. It's easy to know, it's harder to execute what you know, right? It's not about what you know. In fact, what is it? The smartest people do the worst in trading, do the worst in investing because you're trying to outthink, you're waiting for all these confirmations and you're trying to outsmart things, and then life happens. Don't outsmart things. Have a good plan in place. If you're selling, take some off based off of a certain level of percentage gains and or market, structure, and then let the rest run, which is something we don't do in futures nearly often enough, but we should. Have that kind of plan in place because you never know. Sometimes you are going to catch this perfect move and it's going to work out great. You're going to have it in your live account and it's going to be perfect. But the vast majority of the time, you can only get so much, or market swings back, or you got knocked out in profit. Like there's all the little variables. So the plan in place, I think, is going to be the key for long-term investing and just a whole host of other things. All of it. Oh, little discouraged with this price action. Before we even remarked this, we had it a little bit higher. We had it up there at the 400s. Now we've got it at the 340s, so just slightly lower than we are right now. We knew we wanted to sell down even before we got this. We already knew we wanted a bit of a sell down. We're not getting it. I'm still not very bearish in terms of long-term stuff. So I'm not up a whole bunch. I closed that out. That's $300 on the day. Not a lot. It's 3 accounts there. But cool. I don't have much else to go over. I would definitely be willing to see if we can't buy up to this area, but we just have no confirmation to buy right now. There's no confirmation whatsoever. And I don't necessarily think we're going to close this overnight gap today either. I mean, we could.
And with it making that going lower, if it actually retraces a little bit and then you get another stronger rejection down, that can be sort of a confirmation to reaching some of those other levels that you're looking at. Where you saying you said the 280s?
You got it marked up. Yeah, I got the 270s, 280s, which is here. I like this area. We could get this. I just don't know when.
Exactly.
I like it, but it's just I can't sell into this without some bit more of a retracement. So we're getting a bit of a bounce now, but I still think we took liquidity officially. I still think I'd want now more of a retracement. I mean, I guess we could retest 50% of the New York only. I would take that.
Yeah, it didn't even retrace to the high of London.
Not even close. So I would take, so here's where I'm at now. Again, the market is ever changing. I think the overall analysis is still good. Like we've adjusted the level, but I still think I'm looking for a bit of a buy before I try to sell down. Doesn't mean we might not sell down first. Like we don't have to close that gap. Remember, we now officially have some huge gaps to the upside that, again, wartime and everything else, we'll see. But I would like to see us push all the way up. 50% of New York only is going to look like this. Come back all the way up to the 500s. Which would bring us kind of making this a full extension. So I would love to get short, preferably up here, but I would even take up here. I'm just not getting short down here. So I'm not willing to. We'll see. It is
It's,
10:34. Go ahead.
yeah, so appreciate first off the video that you did, few videos you did, but specifically the one with the apex and detailing it. And I was looking at your videos. It's the algorithms are real. Like you had a couple thousand, over several thousand on that one.
That one,
And
yeah, that did it, man.
anytime you talk about your profits, like it's in the actual like title, those are like the ones that have like thousands of views.
I know. Well, like, I'm thinking about it, Jonathan, and the team is working on it, so they get all the credit. Number one, I know that like I'm the kind of person like very chill, like cool, we'll get it out in 3 days. That's not going to work. Like, we have to get this stuff out immediately. Number two, like if we're going to grow, we need to be able to rank. So the best part about that video was we actually ranked on Bing and on Yahoo. We didn't even come close on Google, but we ranked for quite a few things. So I'm hopeful and optimistic, but man, we gotta see some growth here. I know the only way it's gonna do that. So, and I think we need to retitle like the January, here's proof of profits, because not a lot of other people are doing it. We did a video in January saying, hey, here's all of the payout proof that I got for the month of January. And then I just recorded one yesterday with the team should have out hopefully very expeditedly, but um I recorded it yesterday, so we'll see. But saying, hey, look, here's all of the proof of the profit from withdrawals from prop firms. And I go click through every single email. And I think I underbid myself actually on my funded futures because I actually withdrew more than that. I just forgot the earlier ones. I hadn't updated it properly. So it's a little bit higher than that. But yeah, we're doing it. Anything profit related, yeah. But remember, all the stupid prop firms are launching their own channel. So how are you supposed to compete? I have no interest in streaming all day, 24 hours a day. Nor do I think like it's healthy. So even if I wanted to, like, I don't think it's what people need. I know it might be what they want, but I think people need less of that. I don't know how to say that better. You guys hear me talk about it all the time. Like I'm very introspective. I'm very overthinking. I always have been, for better and for worse. But I think about this stuff quite often. So number one, I did really well not even knowing what VWAP was. Like I made more than seven figures trading, swing slash intraday trading without knowing 90% of the crap that I know now. Like I know a lot of stuff now that I definitely did not need to know. Like I didn't need to know about all the ICT, SMT, I didn't need any of that. And I think most people, if they were being honest with themselves, would kind of be in the same boat, which is you don't technically need most of the stuff that you think you need. You need to stick with one thing and find one place and trade less, and you'll be unusually successful to where you can make a lot of money, personal or prop capital, from anywhere in the world. Like I believe that through and through, and I want to be the person that helps people get there. Like that is my passion. I want that so much. But the world, like they want the trade-attainment, like they want the crap talk, they want the I don't know, they just want the never-ending stream, which feeds into the addiction, which is funny because the prop firm rules are getting away from that, but they're at the same time they're supposedly getting away from it with their rules. They're promoting these never-ending streaming nonsense, right? And they justify it by saying, well, what about the person who's not available at 9:30? What about the person who's not available in Asian? We need another session for the person who's only available at this time. I hear their logic. This is my rant, guys. However, comma, that logic is flawed because it's also feeding the beast of what they say they're trying to get away from, which is the 24-hour trading and the over everything. So I don't know. We'll see. We're hopeful. Hopefully we can put a video out, a really good video out that gets 10,000 views. Hopefully the channel gets more than 20,000 subscribers, and that's the goal. Slowly but surely. Either way, the prop firms are trying to move me to live. Another one wants to interview for some other things. So one's an interview for affiliates. So there's good things coming. It just feels so slow sometimes. All the time, more accurately.
Yeah, you're completely right with the there's just so much access to information and trading that is almost like it's like nonstop and yeah, information overload. And then you get the fatigue as well because you like stay on the trading, you stay on the charts for such a long period of time that you enable opportunities to tilt or try and get into trades. You're every influencer or people on these channels have their own way that they actually they trade. Like they may not be like how you're using, they use different size, etc. So that can mess with your emotions too, because you see an influencer make like a couple thousand and all they got was like, like a few points, like maybe 10 points or whatever, because of the size that they're physically using on the accounts. And then you try to get in there, and maybe your size wasn't enough, so you didn't hold it enough, and or you didn't get like what target that you had in your mind, and then you end up being in a drawdown or whatever the case is because of mismanagement. So it's like sort of it's better to like sort of like unwind. It's like just cutting off social media so you can be in your own thoughts and do your own thing. A lot of people even say that they became profitable after they stopped even listening to their mentors. And I said in a respectful way because they're making their own decisions. A mentor sort of gives you the I guess the guides or the map to reach success and find your own, strategy that works for you in your version of whatever strategy they have. But ultimately, your mentor has no control over how you manage the trade, how you leverage the trade, and that's what you got to do. And you got to cut out all the noise so you can do that correctly and efficiently on a regular basis to have that profitability.
That 100%. Like, and trust me, no offense taken. I super agree. I feel like if we turned off the social medias, and don't get me wrong, I know there's great interviews. I know there's great information, but I think there's so much noise and so much never ending, like brainwash level. I'm all about like the brainwash. Like I do it, I've done it. My kids know that that's who I am as a person. Like they've had audiobooks and sermons and Les Brown and Danny John, they've had things in their ears for the vast majority of their life, and their mother does too. I totally agree. But that's information. And most of the stuff that I'm digesting is like human oriented. Is not it it's not all trading. I mean, I don't care. Pick the best thing you love. Pick sourdough, okay? Pick car parts and motorcycles. I don't even care. Like pick one. 24 hours a day of it, you're gonna burn out, like no matter what. And then you're gonna see it differently. You're not gonna understand it the same way because you're going to have 18 versions of 17 variations of 20 different equations in your head at the same time and go, ding, ding, ding. I don't know left from right. I don't know what I'm thinking. I don't know what I'm feeling. It's like, to me, it's just too much, guys. It's way too much. It is overload. So on that note, we've taken a couple of good trades. This one, fair and square, I got in only after we broke because I still wasn't taking it, and I didn't take it on any of my Tradeday accounts. I took it on my top step. Not a lot there. I got a decent little payout, so I'm 4 grand already for the month there, which is cool. So I'm just gonna kind of slowly going back to slow. On the note of slow, the part that's very discouraging about the loss limit on Apex is this. The whole concept of this portion is now officially dead. Actually, more accurately, this portion is now officially done. So again, there's nothing wrong with, and I typed it in for my own self, even if all I made was 800 bucks and 25 accounts. I mean, I know I didn't form fill this to have 80%, which I'm sure I can. That's still a lot per year. So I can still hit my goal this way. But the problem is, and I know it's psychological, is even if you have 60, $70,000 worth of equity, you can't use that equity because you have a daily loss limit. So you can, like over time. So I'm going to try to do my best. And like I said in my video, we talked about the payouts. I'm really good at the whole concept of this is good because, right? So when I'm frustrated and feeling down or feeling like my head is butting up against the wall, what I typically do is something along the lines of, okay, this is good because, right? So on that note, this is good because if I pull up my TradeZella and we see the really big blow up days, which do happen, I don't have too many of them, but they do happen. That daily loss limit, once all my accounts are over on that level, won't happen. Like I won't have lost the account that day. It will suck because you'll have a lot more red and green days because the red days will officially be locked and you have no opportunity to make it back. So it will slow you down. My expenses will probably go down if I'm trading with more daily loss limits because instead of blowing the account that day, I've got 2 days to do that poorly before I blow it, right? And being honest, but yeah, that whole new rule, and granted, I still have the older accounts. All of these are now dead. Can't do them. You have to kind of stick with at the max this. Well,
And then also with the way they're doing the payout structure too, it's sort of like it's sort of limiting like sort of like the bigger payouts. Like obviously you can make huge payouts because I think when you do the numbers, it amounts to if you get all the max payouts, I think you get like somewhere around like a quarter of a million or something like that before they move you to live. But like those big multi You know, 1 million, 1.2, 1.8, whatever. Unless you have like a legacy, I don't think you're gonna get to that point where you're getting that payout as far as on simulated funds.
That's the other concern is I'd have to pull it up, but now instead of the first payout being, it was 2750 on the bigger accounts. Now, don't quote me, but I think the first one is 2000. Now the benefit is it edges up quicker. So instead of like it being 27 and it just staying that way for this whole time, for all 6 payouts, now it's like 25. And don't quote these numbers exactly. And then it's 3000. And then it's 35, all the way up to I think it's 5,000 for the accounts I'm trading. So it looks more like this. So dollar for dollar, it's not necessarily less, but the biggest also problem is that 6 payout. This is still not, they did, again, I said that in the video, I'll say it now. They treated their people like partners. Now, again, sometimes you treat people like partners and they don't show up like one. They just don't care, right? Or they only care for self-serving reasons, but like, they really did. They did a great job at informing us. They sent out videos, information, emails. Some people broke that. I was in a few chats where people were talking about it and I was like, I hope you get kicked off because they explicitly said you're not allowed to bring this up until we launch this, but we want it ready to launch with all of this. So they had times and everything. They gave all the information, including a really well done video that explained all of it, which is where I got the data from. But the 6 payout part and the path to live, which they're clarifying, is still gray. It is still a gray area right now. So it's going to be based, I'm sure they have numbers back there that say, hey, they've spent X amount, they've earned X amount, they have X amount of performance and X amount of payouts. It's going to look something like that that now says on this 6 payout, what happens with that account. I'm reasonably sure, I cannot confirm, that like it is currently now, you can technically withdraw it all there, or you can be moved to live, or you'll be allowed to keep trading. I don't know that for sure, and that is a little bit concerning because if on this 6 payout, you're not allowed to withdraw it all, and or if you're not allowed to keep trading after that 6 payout, you're right, we're not going to get the $1 million payouts that we have for all of that anymore. So it's not going to be a thing anymore. So we'll
Hi,
see
Jenny.
though.
Can I ask a question? Can you hear me?
Yeah, come on up.
Hi. Yeah, so I'm just curious because I saw that you had legacy PA accounts from before the rule changes, right?
I did.
As far as I understand, all the rules for the legacy accounts still apply for you. So you don't have to worry about the end of day drawdown or the daily loss limit or anything.
Well, provided I don't have any human error. Okay.
Right.
Like,
I thought you were up like 30K though on them.
no,
Like,
wait, I'm up more than 30K.
that would
So
have to be a catastrophic day for you to blow it, I think.
wait, this one. So that's the one I'm up the biggest right there. It's
Right.
70,000. Okay.
Right.
But remember, give me a second to pull up my TradeZella because it's gonna have to update and it takes a second. But I showed you guys I lost the vast majority of my 150Ks, and some of them I had built up 20 or $30,000, mind you. But again, the trailing drawdown, I took technically this was 3 bad trades, and then I lost Wi-Fi when I was at Rosie's in Spain. The guy came over and was going to work on the stove, and I was like, "Cool, have fun. I'm going to be in here. I'm going to flop a trade real quick. Everything's gravy." Well, all of a sudden the Wi-Fi went out and there was no Wi-Fi. And I was totally calm. I was totally chill. I was half sleep deprived, half delusional at this point, like because the jet lag is real from that many hours of traveling and the new time zone and everything. So, and the excitement and the joy and the people and all the things. But I'm sitting there and it's been about 10, 15 minutes. I'm like, yo, so we're gonna have to do something real quick. Like, I just need a little bit, just a little bit of Wi-Fi. I mean, 5 minutes will be enough, but I do need some Wi-Fi. Like, and they ended up turning it back on. They stopped, they rewired the stuff on the stove so there wouldn't be open, whatever. They got me Wi-Fi for about 5 minutes. I had blown everything. For the most part, that big account is the only last one I have. I do have some other legacy accounts that provided I don't have any human mistakes. I will be able to keep, and I probably will pay full price, the crappy price. But this is that day. I lost all 25K accounts that I had built up. And
Oh my
remember, most of
God.
those I was,
I'm so sorry to hear that. Like
yeah,
that's terrible.
me too. Well, because this month again, I was really disciplined. I did not blow a lot of accounts. This was a tech issue, a copy trading issue. Stuff froze up. This is normal losing day. You'll see by the percentages. These are bad trading days. Percentages, you can see that. But I had building so slowly and not And you can tell that too by the net P&L on the day. Like this is approximately the same amount of accounts. I have increased the accounts as I got into January and February, but you can see these were slow builds. So all of this work to build, a lot of those accounts started in December. Again, slow. This was not huge. Coming in out into February, I lost the vast majority of them. That one I just showed you is the last one that I have left. And then I have some new ones that are slowly growing. But this day I lost all the 50K accounts, the only ones that get lost there. So most of my accounts are reasonably new with the exception of the really, really old one. Oh, here, let me do this.
I still remember we were talking, I think it might have been in late January, and I was trying to convince you to just, hey, you know, you have 30K up, just do $50 a day and get that money out guaranteed. And
But that's what they don't want people doing that.
I
They,
know.
well, I'm trying to find the right PA account. PA. It's gonna take a second. Oh, there it is. So I'll show you that exact account. This one now is available to withdraw all of it, and I'll probably do a video about it. I don't think I'm gonna withdraw all of it. I'm gonna do my best to leave it in there. So I'm gonna walk away from what is currently, I've already got like 20K in payouts from that account, that one account, but this is only this one account. So remember, I've got about 20K in payouts already.
Jenny, just out of curiosity, how did this one account survive when all the other accounts died?
Because so that's the blessing and the curse, right? I told you guys in December I was done buying, well, probably closer to earlier than that. I was done buying all 20 accounts. I wasn't doing all 20. I was going to buy one or two, build it up. As I got a payout, I would buy one or two more. I'd buy one or two more. That process is great for your mid-grade average trading. But if all of my accounts had been started at this time, all of them would be fine. But the truth is, it's very expensive to go in there and mess up 20 accounts, right? Especially with the $140 PA fees and then the psychology of it. So I had started this one. As you can see, the PA started on December 15th. And then, of course, I'm adding more along the way as I'm getting payouts, right? As I'm growing. So this is the longest one. The other ones I had started kind of in this period and then in the beginning of January. So this is, I'm gonna have to change the view. Let's go to actual size. Better. But it just had more equity. So the other accounts that, and it makes sense too. This day I had a tech problem. It sucked a lot and I got locked out of everything. But it was, again, I had so much equity built in and didn't even break the 50% rule that's in there. That's how much equity I had built up in there. This day, as you can see, was down only 20K. And I say only because when I said the other accounts had 20, 30K, it was just enough to kind of break the barrier. That's all. But they had a lot of equity built up, but this one just happened to have more. So, and this day didn't even break the 50% rule. It didn't even break it. So that's what it looks like every single day. I just think that new rule is going to be really hard to hit this bigger number, but the benefit is, technically speaking, I don't know which tab it is. $4,000 a day on literally one account. Okay. This is already factored for whatever. Is almost enough to kind of hit my goal on that one account. So if I can just slow down a little bit, keep using all the equity I have in that one account might help me hit my goal. But it's not easy, guys. It's a process. There's so many levels of errors that come into this. It's yours, it's tech, it's this, it's that. It's just a lot of things. So this is that one account. Again, I've withdrawn about 20K already from them. At this point, I'm averaging the $4,000 a day. This one, I'm not going to hit 4,000 probably because the trade I took was on micros and not minis. This totaled 4K from the Sunday night to the Monday. But I'll average the 4K easy because I have plenty of room in that account now. I don't have to worry about it. But I don't know how to get that kind of room anymore with their new
Yeah,
rules.
the daily loss limit makes it really tough to grow an account.
If it's
Because
going to
like
stay static,
even when you have huge buffer, you could have 50K buffer and like, you know, you'll hit the daily loss limit before your trade works out.
that's the problem right there, is that's irritating. I don't like it at all. So I'm going to choose that this is good but otherwise, you guys, the full truth, the only accounts I've been avoiding lately are the ones that have daily loss limits. Why? Because I think it's really sucky to have, let me pull this back on. Sometimes I know that daily loss limit would have saved all the accounts on this day. Okay. That's true. There's no way around that. However, and I'm just going to use this one for example, because we can see the accuracy is pretty low here on that particular day. It would have also likely made it to where I hit the daily loss limit on this day too. So I probably would have hit the daily loss limit on this day and not been able to recover and got some green on the account here. And then I would have already had my psychology and the stuff messed up, and then this day would have happened. So take any of these days that have like, let's just say lower than 50%, which doesn't happen too often. Maybe this one would have been impacted. But these days where maybe your trading isn't as good, or you just were outsized, you kind of took the first two trades were losses, it makes it to where you can't recover back on the account to kind of get to this point, right? It's harder. It's much harder.
Do
Actually,
you have take profit accounts, Jenny? Because I know like if you got to take profit pro on the 150Ks, I feel like that would be really good for you.
I like that I stopped. Okay, so wait, I'll show you. I'm learning, so I'm sharing this journey with you guys. I'd have to pull up the emails, but I talked a lot about it in the month of January. So as you guys know, I use Trade Sinker. That's great. Good, the bad, and the ugly. But when one thing happens and it swaps contracts, I think by the time I got to early to mid January, I had just lost 12 accounts a total. So it means something that looks like this. It means I spend the time to pass it 5 days. I spend the time to build it up and get to pro, and then I get to pro plus, right? I lost 5 Pro Plus accounts once with the stupid hedge rule. They just deleted them. They were just gone, right? And it wasn't something I did on purpose. It's just the Trade Sinker and the Ninja Trader that was I think the day that I switched back to Trade Sinker because I was just fed up of it. But of course Trade Sinker does it too. So their hedge rule is really hard if I'm going to have more than one account with them. So I've really backed off of them. I think if I have them, I'd probably just have to pick one account and
Just trade it at a time, one at a time. Yeah.
one, because if I do trade copying and one time, so remember that means like you're in a buy, whatever, my system closes, let's say I'm in this buy and I hit the close. Sometimes throughout the technology, it just kind of opens and closes an extra whatever, it counts as a hedge.
Right.
And
I've
then
even
I
seen
lose
a
the
case
account.
where someone made like 50 or 60K in one day, and then they accidentally took profits on an MNQ contract instead of the mini. And that $1 trade caused them to lose their entire account.
Yeah,
It's
but
like,
1 second.
yeah,
One
just
second.
1 second of hedge on a micro.
Yeah. So that's what I was running into. I built up those accounts a couple of times. I think it was 8 or 12 accounts in total. I think, and that was in January. So remember in November, I'd have to not on these accounts, but in November, I had the same problem and I lost all my accounts that again I built up slowly. So going slow is great, but then you spend all these weeks doing pretty good. You've got a lot of green, couple red, you're going slow, but then you lose the account on a stupid hedge, which is not even something you
You
do.
just lose
Like
everything.
purpose.
Yeah.
So that was a big turnoff for me. I if I keep copy trading, which is currently my goal, I probably am going to look something like my funded futures. I will have one account. Take profit trader. I will have one account. The only reason why I'm saying that is because there's no chance at losing it for a hedge. Okay, none. Apex at least. And again, I've been kind of singing Apex's praises quite a while, but Apex at least, if I take a hedge first off, I can show them, and sometimes they will erase it. I can show them, hey, this is what happened. Sometimes they erase it. Number two, they don't delete the account. They give you a warning and they delete the profit for that day. Okay. So I can deal with that. I can deal with the, hey, there was a glitch. You lost all the profit for day. I wish more firms did this. Apex does this. Like they just delete the profit for the day. It sucks, but it's much better than losing 5 weeks worth of profits and process. So likely if I keep copy trading, which again is the goal, no promises, I'm only going to have one account. I gave up on Legends for the same reason. I spent a lot of time. I was eligible for a payout. I didn't take it that day. And then the next day I had that hedge thing. I lost all of the accounts. And since they allowed 10, that's a lot. I was like, okay, I'm just over it. So if I go back to Legends, I would just do one account. It would be one, one, and one. And that's how I don't have another solution because those companies delete the account. Like it's just gone.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. And that sucks a lot. So
Have you considered, sorry, I know I'm asking a lot of
no.
questions. Have you considered
Come on.
Tradeday, Lucid? Do you have
I
those already?
freaking love Trade Day. My only so wait, Trade Day technically does daily payouts, y'all.
It does. Daily, yeah. Tradeday
Woo!
is basically take profit light in a way.
I actually love them a lot. So I
Yeah.
haven't had any instances where I got hit with the hedge on them for whatever reason, but I love the daily payouts. I will say the only part about them I don't like, first off, use code 6FTC, but is when you hit certain milestones, they
Oh,
pause
they
your
they pause
start.
you, right? At 5K, 10K, 15K. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They pause you for the day.
They no, they pause a lot. So they're like, hey, well, you can't buy accounts. They'll pause you and say, hey, look, we're considering you for live. And they just the amount of pauses per accounts, I just feel like is a lot.
Yeah.
But other than that, I love them a lot. Lucid, I love a lot. They're
Lucid's
pretty,
payouts are so quick. It's amazing. I
I'm
requested yesterday. Within 2 minutes, it was in my work market. 2 minutes.
same with funded next. Like honestly, you'll get your money instantly. The thing Apex though, all the good things I've been saying and tooting their horn, I am still waiting on payouts for like 8, 10 days. Like some of the accounts are up for their next payout, and I still haven't even got the other one yet. So
Yeah, I think they
eh,
fell behind a bit with all the upgrades because I've been
yeah,
hearing that and seeing that a lot. There's people from like February 20th who have been approved for payout and they're about to request their second payout on the same account and they still haven't been paid.
that's me. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's me. That's me. I'm one of those people. I'm giving a little bit of grace. Like I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, they'll always eventually pay. Like I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on it. So. But this is the details, guys. This is what I'm working on. I do think those Apex accounts are going to be a lot harder. I'm probably going to pay full price for any rebuilds that I do have or work a little bit softer at keeping the ones that I have because it just changes how I have to trade. And I'm going to again change the whole this is good because speech, but it is different. So it does make it to where instead of making a lot, you're going to have to plan on not getting up to this point because you're never going to get there. You're never going to get beyond having more access than this. So you always have to target at the most this, you would
Yeah.
always be targeting, let's say you only have $4,000. At the best case scenario, I'm not going to be, probably getting much more than 800 or 1,000 bucks a day because I'm trying to keep that for at least 4 days. So, yep, we'll see. We will see. But okay, guys, I don't want to keep trading. I do think we have a potential buy. We swept liquidity. We've got a double bottom, a potential W here. It's just really ugly. It's 11 o'clock right now. Hourly chart, 4 hour chart, none of it is giving me, hey, oh my gosh, this is the best trade ever. So we're 2 minutes into this hourly candle, which means technically from where we're sitting, 448s all the way down to the 340s, you could easily wick down over 100 points and still push up and be right. So this isn't a trade that I'm super in love with. I would love to buy, but I'd probably want to buy after I formed a wick. And that wick for me would at least need to kind of come down into the 380s, which is 60-ish points from where we're sitting now. Otherwise, it's just there's too much room. There's 350s all the way up to 560s. That's 200 points worth of room. So I'm gonna be smart and say no more for me. So I'm not gonna get to the full 400, 4,000 today or whatever likely, and that's fine. I got my trade on the day. Things I'm working on is I don't have to get to that number today. I don't have to get to that payout tomorrow. I'm just looking for my couple of trades and going on with my day. So that's what I'm working on. Hopefully we all can work on it a little bit. Bias is a little bit up, but it's just not an easy position to be in if that's what you're looking for, because we can still wick down. And that's what I've got. So any questions, comments, let me know. Let me go here.
Oh, Jenny,
Um,
one more thing. The fees for the legacy evals had gone up back to 125. I found out the hard way yesterday. I was
the
gonna activate them on Friday at $75, right? And then I put it off thinking, hey, I'll have time on the weekend to do it. And then I come back Sunday, Monday, and it's back up to 125 full price.
Is that for 50Ks or what?
For the 50K legacy evals, yeah.
Like I said, I'm
Wow.
probably gonna keep them, guys. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not proud of it. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I'm probably gonna keep the full price. And I think the full price on mine, I think they're $170. So it's John coming out with your one question and then John. Hold on. Your accounts are up a huge and your accounts are legacy. So okay. Um,
That was just me.
yeah.
You don't have to answer that.
I got it now. I'm gonna try to keep it. It's potentially, guys, maybe that one account is what gets me to my seven-figure goal, but we're gonna find out, and I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm gonna feel really stupid not taking it all if something happens, because as of right now, I can take out $70,000 for this very next payout. So we'll see. But John, coming out, what is your question?
I don't know if you read the thing I posted about trade day, and I
Uh-huh.
wanted to see if this happened to you.
What is it?
So I had a trade day account, okay, and I got it up and I took like a $3,000 payout. Then I traded and hit the milestone, and they kept all the profit above the 5,000. And I'm like, okay, so I did it a second time and took a payout, and I hit the $10,000 payout. So when I hit the $15,000 payout, I wasn't paying attention and I only needed $50 and I made a $3,600 trade and
And you
hit
don't
the $15,000 and they didn't give me the profit.
They don't. So that did happen to me. So when I hit the 5,000 and the $10,000 marks, like that day, so like I think that's when it would be really helpful if we just hit a daily target. Okay. So that day that you hit, let's say 5,500, and it's hard, especially if you've taken a withdrawal. If you've taken a withdrawal, you got to do that math a little bit better. But once you've profited over 5,000, stop right there because they're not going to give you a dime over that, even if you made
Yeah.
10K that day. And they do
Yeah. So,
milestones.
yeah. So then, all right. So I had two accounts and they're both like $52,050. So I looked at the payout and they're like, yeah, you can take your buffer payout, but it's 50%. So I'm like, okay, I'll take the buffer, I'll take the payout, and then I'll just buy two new evals and start over. They banned me.
Oh, wait.
They paid me the money out of my buffer and then banned me for 4 months.
Are you kidding?
No.
Wait, I would want to know why. Did they ban you for withdrawing into the buffer?
Yeah. Yeah. Because I even messaged them, I'm allowed to take this money. And they're like, yeah, it's a 50%, you only get a 50% split. So I'm like, okay. So I applied for the payout and they paid me $1,008 and then banned me.
So I have never done that. I would hope that's not the case, but I have never withdrawn into the buffer. So like if it says, like for example, I started playing with it and just taking these like $400, $500 withdrawals. I was like, this is cool. So if I never withdrew past the 52.50 ever.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oof.
And that was my goal, was because I was thinking in my head, probably before I hit another payout, I'm going to blow the account. So I'll just take the $2,000, I'll buy two new evals and start over, and I'm money ahead. Evidently, they don't agree with that.
Honestly, you guys, this whole industry, like I know it sounds, I probably should sound more I don't know, YouTube friendly. I'm going to use that word. But it just feels like a lot. Like coming from a girl who very peacefully traded my own capital and not a bajillionaire, okay? I'm not trying to lie, like none of that, but very successfully, very independently. I took three, sometimes up 10 trades a week, won some, lost some, and went on with my life. This whole side of the industry, it just feels like so much. Imagine, so let me go back to all accounts. Keep in mind, like provably, and here let me change the date range. Like I'm gonna include all the bad stuff too from 2025. I think we started this in kind of March. I'll go to March. Okay. So including the really bad, I was trying every single copier under the stinking sun. Like, so I'm gonna include everything for a second. We showed this live on YouTube, so it's not a state secret by any means, but hold on. I want you to look at this number. And it's something I'm really thinking about. Like I am seriously thinking about it. I am seriously praying about it because it is a real topic. That is $1.6 million. Now, the percentages on this I think are janky. They're not 100% accurate, but I'm going to go to this just for giggles. It's not going to be accurate. 80%, there you go. 66,284%. Okay. That's relevant. Like it is hugely relevant. That's 2%, 3%. You guys can kind of get an idea. And figure take that with a grain of salt. Okay. Take it with a grain of salt. But this is $1.6 million that I will probably maybe best case scenario see 10% of. I'm working toward 30% of, but real numbers, again, this stuff is great for YouTube. This is only prop firm. The only thing included here that's not a prop firm is a Dragonfly account, which is about $60,000, $70,000 now up in profit. So minus 70,000 from this. Everything else is all futures. And this is starting from even the really bad. I'm trying to copy trade. I did not obviously have as many accounts here. April, May, and June were just a crap show of like, oh my gosh. April was at least net positive, but you can see the blow up days. You can see, I mean, multiple, the good, the really bad, right? The worst case scenario was still technically net, nope, not net profitable. I didn't think May and June were. Every single thing I was trying, I just tried every setting that Affordable Trading Tools told me to try, and I just kept at it and kept failing forward. That's all I was doing here was failing forward over and over again, losing my mind. So even including the worst possible parts of everything, and that's, you guys have already seen the other month, this is negative 84,000. Obviously this is prop capital, so figure this is probably me down 4 or 5 grand at the very most. Awful, right? Awful, okay? Awful. There's no other way to say that. And then of course, every month since then, we've, been picking it up and just trying a different process versus quantity versus mirroring the biggest to the smallest to the smallest to the biggest and all the different stuff. Big long-term process. But my point is this, $1.6 million, 70-ish% achieved, including blowups, including everything accuracy. 1.5, this could be, it should be a little bit higher. That's insane. Like to have these kind of track records and then have these prop firms come in and be like, hey, you made 10 grand, you just can't come back. Hey, you did this in a way I didn't like today, or there was a click of a button that lasted half a second. Okay, not all $30,000 is gone, right? I know that there's human mistakes too, and like I had my trip to Spain that was a little wild on that Wi-Fi day. I've had days where I was psychologically just not at the right place, taking the wrong trades. I agree. But, and this is a big but, they have a lot of power for me to be able to pull in $408,000 and achieve. This is funded only, no, this month they linked the some of the evals on this day because I was flipping them all back up. But to give you an idea, this is 99% all funded accounts only, $346,000, and they have all the control to say, hey, well, technically that's worth about $30,000 to you. And I'm being as honest as humanly possible. So this industry is wild. Please be careful, diversify. You technically only need one account, okay, a couple accounts. So yeah, I have a big goal, but I'm assuming by the time I get $1 million in payouts, this is going to say 10 million or 8 million. By the time I get $1 million in payouts. And I think that's what it would take for that to happen. Yeah, come on out, Rashawn. We're just hanging out. Market's buying a little bit, but my automation is set up the way Joe Cutter helped me set it up the other night, but it's only picking up one trade. Do you know why it's not matching my P&L? First off, it's never going to match 100%. We know that there are known issues in terms of trading view to pick my trades to trade of 8. We are releasing for NinjaTrader and MT5 soon. And then secondly, on days like this, so let me go back, let me get this screen off. On days like this, remember the ATR is going to be so huge. So this 5-minute time frame, that's NQ. Let's put back on our stuff real quick. This happened so quick that by the time it activates, right, this P&L that's going to show, and it might not have taken the trade, because remember, by the time this pushes up and it goes to do it, it's no longer confirmed, right? By the time it pushes down, it's no longer confirmed. So especially on a day like today and or in this market, right, which I've never been a big advocate of, oh, this is a crazy market, because the market's always crazy. This is the market, right? It's always crazy for one reason or another. It's just a different reason each time. But I would assume, I don't know what my, give me a second and I'll tell you what mine did today. But if this is your range, this is our first close outside of the range. So if everything is kind of functioning as we want it to be, I would have taken one entry here, Hopefully got one winner. Hopefully not got knocked into this. I shouldn't have because I'm set to close only. But I would have only had one trade. And then these would have been sketchy at best, mostly probably because slippage and variance. I don't know if I would have gotten activation here or not. I should or could have, but unlikely with this kind of volatility. So I want people to know, and I think some people just are a little bit better at this than others. I want people to know that there's no such thing as perfect. It doesn't exist, right? Don't look at this like you're going to hit 100% of anything because you're simply not, right? Look at it like, hey, you're looking for the law of large numbers over time. So it's connected. You are trading. It only picked up one trade. In a perfect world, I would almost want our breakout to only take one trade on the day. Now, ours is built a little bit fancier than some other versions, so you're taking a lot more than one trade on the day in some cases. In some cases, it's awesome. But then again, I don't know what time frame you were using, 5 minute, 1 minute, 15 minute, what execution time you were using. And then last but not least, something that somebody else taught me that I didn't even know, this helps exponentially. Like, so if you're missing a lot of trades, when you come in here to create the alert, okay? You click on it, instead of doing same as chart, manually input this at a smaller time frame. So, or manually choose, instead of choosing same as chart, manually choose the time frame you're on, or one step better is go to a smaller time frame. Because what this is going to do is it's going to force the data out quicker. Because remember, in a 5 minute period, a lot of stuff is happening. And a lot of times, especially with TradingView's data only comes from closed data, nothing else. Nothing on here is in between the candles, so it's only coming from closed data. So I would definitely consider those fixes to help speed it up a little bit. Oh, and then hey, if you feel like it's very far off, make sure that when you come in here, automated, make sure that you don't have this set to free because it's not free, right? Maybe put 1 or 2 ticks here. I used to do $1 for per contract. You can make that a little bit higher if you want to be a little bit more conservative with what it looks like, but include some fees there because what you're seeing probably doesn't include any fees. And there's always fees. Always, always. I like the 5 minute. I like the 5 minute. I need to reset it up. I just haven't, it hasn't been my priority. I need to reset it up with the 1 minute alerts on the 5 minute because I think I'm going to get better executions. And I'm also going to try another firm. So this way I've got 2 different versions to kind of see because I know somebody was trying it with Funded Futures Network and it didn't work. I couldn't get it to work on my funded futures. So it could also be broker stuff too. Some brokers don't like that kind of automation. All that stuff is outside of my hands. But it's like the US30 copier, right? People were like, hey, I want to make money. But when you show them, hey, this makes money, they want to go in there and make different decisions, right? Here's the deal. You're just looking to grow every month. Like, we don't care about the messy middle. We care that it takes some trades, that it's net profitable, and that we can survive the drawdown. Like, we're not looking for anything beyond that. At anything, like under any circumstances, do we care about anything else? So that's how I look at it. I wish I could help more people look at it that way. Like, we don't care about all the little stuff. We just know that it's net profitable. It's not going to trade every day perfectly. It's not going to trade every day. Like, there's some days I simply just didn't get a trade, likely because of slippage or connection or whatever. But there's some days I literally got no trades and y'all made a killing and I didn't, and vice versa, right? That's gonna be how it works. There's just no way around that. But on the end of the month, it's been net profitable. So I just don't like the connection with the 3-part system. So I'm excited to get it onto another platform to tell you the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Have you only had it up for one day? How long have you had it? Yeah. Oh, since last Thursday. Give it time. Like, let it play for a week or two before you like, and I know because some of these accounts rebill. So it's almost like if you're on an eval, you'd need to turn it up so it could pass quicker. If you're on a funded account, keep it really low and let it keep trading. Like, that's what I do is let it keep trading and keep it really low. And it's getting me my days and that's it. That's really all I'm looking for though. That is it. Oh, okay, guys. this is what we've got. We talked about this buy. It was just really in a tricky spot. So I wasn't super excited about taking it, mostly because we could have wicked either way. We did form a baby wick, and now we've got this voluminous candle. This is still my area. Funny how price kind of played out exactly like we drew out. I did extend those levels after we got new data on the 4 hour, but before class opened or before market opened, we said we wanted to pull down and then the push up. We got it, but we just pushed up a smidge first. So kind of interesting to see what you know on the day. It's kind of cool to see that. Let me delete this now. I'm going to keep up this projection and we will come back in tomorrow.
Jenny, one quick question before you leave. Also, that 7-9 rejection was pretty good. With the Apex legacy accounts, right? With the MAE drawdown rule, I know that like if you were to break that rule, they started doing this towards the end, like in the past month or two. But like if you break the rule, then they basically remove all your profits on the day. So say you went down like -1,000, you broke the rule, you made it back to 0, then you basically end the day at break even. That's fine. But if you made $1,000, like you went from -1,000 back up to 1,000, they actually remove that $1,000 and reset you back to 0, as if you made nothing on the day. So my question is, do you know what happens with the trailing drawdown when that happens? Like, do I lose $1,000 of trailing drawdown when they reset me back down to 0?
Um, First off, I'd highly recommend not hitting that. I've only actually hit that once. Like,
I was up 500 and I hit it like just around 11:15 when NQ popped from 480 up to like 580 in 2 minutes. I got caught in that short, and this sucks.
okay.
I got my accounts back to like 50K though. Like it's day one on my account, so it's whatever, right? But like I was up 500, so it would suck to lose $500 of drawdown room just because they reset me back down to 0 profits on the day.
So wait, it's a brand new 50K account.
Brand new 50K account. I was up 500, right? So I was at 50,500, and then I got caught on when I was shorting that
And
giant
what's the
pub up
max
candle.
drawdown that your drawdown went to?
I think it went to like -1,000. So I'm pretty sure I crossed that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just for a second.
Oh, yeah, it only takes a second. We just talked about that.
I know. I got out as soon as I could because like but like I was hovering around like -600. I'm like, you know what, I'll wait like another second. And then it just spiked, right? And then all of a sudden I saw -1,100 flash across my screen. And I got out ASAP, but probably too late. And then luckily I was able to trade it, get it back above 50,000. So the accounts are hovering around like 50,200 to 50,400 right now. But my question is, because they were at 50,500 at the height of the day, when they reset me back down to 50,000, am I basically out 50, like, sorry, am I out $500 of drawdown?
Here's what I would do. So again, it's really hard to stop, right? But we have to start looking at this from a more analytical perspective. What I would do in this circumstance is stop trading for the day so you can get that answer. Then that's my opinion. I don't know for sure that they're going, if that counts or not, because my understanding of it, and I could be wrong, so take it with a grain of salt, is it's based off of the beginning of the day, not the high. So your MAE rule is based off of the beginning of the day. Your trailing drawdown is based off of real time, right? In trailing time. So I don't know if that's accurate or not, but if I'm right, you didn't have any violation, you keep it all fine. Now, if I'm wrong, okay, and you go make more money, you're going to lose it anyways. And you're putting on risk that you don't need, and you definitely don't want to have two issues in one day. So
It'd be really stupid if I got up to like $2,000 and
yeah.
then they remove all the profits and suddenly I'm down to $500 of drawdown on a brand new account.
Yeah, so for that reason, I
Just
think the
stop.
best course of
Yeah.
action is pause for the day, see what happens after midnight tonight. They say 6 p.m., but remember, some of those changes don't reflect until after midnight. And that's how I would trade it, especially right now with everything they have going on. I think that's going to be the best scenario because I don't know for sure. I think the MAE rule is based off of the beginning of the trading day, which means you might not have broken it. I'm 30% though. It looked like you did though. Because no matter
Yeah, I
what,
thought it was on a per trade basis. So like even if you're up like 3 grand on the day, if you have a single trade, actually no, that doesn't make sense. You're right. It would be -7. Actually, I don't know. I don't know if it's based on like your account balance or if it's based on like a per trade basis, where if any trade goes below, like sorry, above the 750 unrealized loss, even if you're up on the day, it still triggers.
I
But
can't say again, I've
that
only
rule's
hit that
gone
one
now, right?
time.
They don't care. Like
Yeah.
that's legacy now. So
And
who knows?
I only hit that one time on day one on that same account that I was showing. So
Yeah.
And once you get past the buffer, the benefit is this goes to 50%. So for me, since you're gonna lose it anyways, I would stop trading now. And then hopefully if they do take back that profit, then because you're pretty much break even, so you don't have a lot of profit to take back. Worst case, you'll have a mild impact, if any. The flip side is if you make a bunch of profit and then they take it, I don't know how that impacts your trailing drawdown, so I wouldn't take that risk
Yeah,
because the
I'll
impact.
stop for the day. I'm done.
Yeah, that's
Thanks.
just me. So we'll see. I'm in love with those legacy accounts right now though, so wishing me some luck.
Yeah. How many do you have left, Jenny? That are just past your take rate?
Well, I have 14. I think, hold on. I have
14?
14 accounts. And wait, some of them are the 50K accounts that some of them have like 10, $15,000 in profit. Hold on. Um, I have 14. Not all of them are passed. So I have a total of 10 PA accounts and then another seven evals
Yeah.
too that I can hopefully build up. And then I've got some rebuilds too, because again, February was a pretty just poor performance month overall in terms of my performance. So I have the potential, but again, I got to trade them slow and steady, keep them for a very long time. And then I bought two of the newer ones just so I can compare. And what I'm doing with those two newer ones is I backed them in with my 50K accounts because, well, they don't have very much of a trailing drawdown roll. They have less.
Yeah.
They have much, much less. So we're gonna see though. I want to see some of you guys withdrawing six figures. I want to see some of you guys withdrawing seven figures. Let's go. Um, Tahiri. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. I would honestly go to, remember, this is my class template. So I would honestly go to the automation chat in Discord and pull that up because first off, Freda is doing much better than me and she's using 15-minute time frame. And I would definitely take a look at that. And she set up her alert a little bit different, which is why I think her performance has been better. Secondly, this particular template that I have right here is not what I'm trading off of, and you'll be able to kind of see it better. So the biggest things that you would really want to pay attention to are trade on candle close. I have my retest active. You don't have to. I currently don't have a buffer. I believe she does. Don't quote me, but I believe she does. Risk reward calculation, I could definitely decrease that. I'm not hitting that anyways. I'm not even close to hitting that. I'd probably do like 2. My trail is pretty tight, but I'm also on the 5-minute. Her trail is also this tight, but she's on the 15, so I think that's giving her more room. I believe I don't recall if she has this clicked or Robert does. I know Robert was looking at the 1 minute for some testing, which was going pretty well. And pretty well does not mean perfect every day. It's not the case. Properties, I do think after order is filled and on every tick slows things down on your computer, but expedites the data that's being transmitted to the 3 sources. So that's kind of cool. But again, this is a long-term process. This is meant, everybody wants to release something and then like have some great testimony today, but most people don't want to do the work and actually stick with something long-term. And that's what this is going to take. It's no different than Dragonfly. Like there are 1,000 things that can go make you $1,000 right now. And some of them are awesome, some of them not so awesome. But here at 6FTC, my goal is to build sustainability as well as profitability because I've been around long enough to know it's really exciting to make 300% hands-free in a month. But that 300% means literally nothing, actually way less than nothing if I gave it all back on, week 3, day 2. So for that reason, just plan to look at this from a long-term perspective and put on your, 10,000 view goggles and stick with something long enough. So I know Freda's doing pretty good. A couple people are doing pretty good. One person's got payouts from this that I can confirm. And then most people are still testing it and really excited about the other platforms just because full disclaimer, I don't think automation built on TradingView is that great when you're using a third-party connection service. So it's not that it's impossible, but I think it's got more potential to be better. And that's just authentically, telling you what I think. So
Jenny, quick question. Is the 6 FTC breakout range inside out, are those both available for like any user on 6 FTC, or do you have to pay something extra?
all members have access to that.
All members? Okay. You know what? I keep putting it off, but I really wanted to just turn it on and have it run on my I think it's a new firm, Next Gen Pro. I don't know how reliable they are, but they do use TradingView as their main broker. So I was thinking I could just turn it on and just leave it on like 24/7 and see what happens. Because I have a 150K account that I'm not really trading it anyway, so I might as well just turn on the automation and see what happens. Like
Yeah.
nothing crazy, right? Just micros, but like even a few $100s a day over like a month would be better than nothing.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it would be. Like honestly, I like this setup with like a personal daily target and specifically a personal daily target on Tradeday. Set that up. It'll go get your trades. Most days you're gonna hit that. Days you don't, you're not gonna be that far down or in drawdown, and that's really smooth. So right now I'm testing brokers mostly for people because people have had issues with particular prop firms. So that's what my focus has been on the last couple of weeks. But otherwise, when I get back to kind of full swing of this, I set up a personal daily target. It hits it probably 3 to 4 days a week. And I trade 2 sessions and that's it. Is it perfect? No, I don't care about perfect. I just care about hands-free profit. So that's my goal at least. So but okay, that is all I've got for you guys today. I am gonna pop off. My neighbor, I think, brought over ice cream. So I'm gonna go look at my freezer and see what that's about. I've gotten all the love. Actually, say I got flowers from Nathan this morning and coffee from, yeah, all the things. So good things in between. I will be back live tomorrow. Guys, I know the world wants your attention, but your time is the most expensive thing you have. It's the most valuable thing you have. So if you've made your money, you got green, go find other passions, go love on people, go work on some other things, and then come back to the charts fresh tomorrow, unless it's part of your plan to be trading, at another time. So, but happy trading. Take care. God bless. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.